Solar ovens and solar cookers are great for emergency cooking. They're a great option, and they're all created differently. These ones that I have here today are the solar oven types that are insulated. And then you have some like this Sun Flare right here, which is, not so great and isn't going to, get as such a high temperature, but they are good options to have. Now, there are some DIY options like this one right here, which I'm going to go over today and explain exactly how I did this. But there are options from the very cheap, like that Sun Flare I just showed you. There's some boxes, and the really expensive, like this All-American Sun Oven right here. And the reason I decided to make my copycat of the All-American Sun Oven is because these started to get really expensive. I made this about 6 years ago and have changed it a few times since then. But back then, this was $400. These days, Sun Oven seems to have priced themselves out of the preparedness industry. So this is more viable than it ever has been. That's why I wanted to do this today. This solar oven, unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, this is going to work the best. This is the best option, the highest heat, and the best insulated. But there's no competition on the market, so they can price it however they want. That's why I decided to do my version, which these are going for $700 and some right now. This cost me $250 to $300 to make this, so half to a quarter of what this cost. And there are other DIY options, pizza boxes and tinfoil and things like that. And as I go through this today, you'll understand why those are okay for, fun little projects, but nothing that is going to be to actually get the job done like this would get the job done. I'll explain what makes these so efficient and how you don't have to design yours exactly like this, but the things that you should be looking out for to get the most efficiency, the highest heat, and have it maintain that heat. So before I get into how to put together this solar oven, I wanted to explain three main things with these and how to get what the three main things you need to be paying attention to. And that is for the solar oven. The solar cookers, not so much, but for the solar ovens, you need to pay attention to the insulation. How well is it going to maintain that heat in that box when the sun goes behind a cloud, or it's overcast a little bit? Once this reaches 300 degrees, 250 degrees, how long is it going to stay there when that sun goes away? Some of these solar cookers don't maintain that temperature very well at all. If the sun goes behind a cloud, that temperature goes down to 100 degrees or whatever. So these solar cookers need to be able to maintain that, need to be well insulated. And I'll show you how I did this one. Also, these reflectors right here, directing the energy into the box is very important. You see, I sort of cut this one off. I'm going to be replacing these pretty soon. They're a little bit flimsy compared to the solar oven ones. You can see these ones fold together nice, and mine are a little bit more flimsy. But these are also more reflective, and that is really important for directing the most energy into one of these solar ovens that you can. I've seen people use tinfoil, and that's great. It will work, but none of these videos you watch with those DIY solar ovens will show you the temperature that the unit is getting to. They just show you it'll cook an egg or, cook some bacon, things like that. But the reflectivity of these is really important. You can see these aren't quite as reflective as the Sun Oven ones. And this oven right here will get to about 300 degrees, and that's about where it maxes out. On a really good day, maybe 325. Whereas this Sun Oven will get to 400 degrees and above. Really, really hot. And that's because of how reflective, mirror-like these panels are. So I plan on changing that, and I'll go into that in a second, but that's the second thing. And also the third thing, same thing, these are the most important piece of this along with the insulation. But the third thing is the shape of this. This is collecting the most sun that you possibly can with these four panels pointed out, as well as the tilt kickstand on the back right here. So you can get this box pointed exactly right towards the sun. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of these, you don't have the rack like this one has right here that is able to keep that pan or whatever you have in there level. And this one does, which is really nice. So what I wanted to do was take everything that this has right here, because I really like this design, and build my own. And like I said, I did this about 6 years ago, and I've got a few videos on it, although that was the first iteration of this. So a lot has changed since then. So I will post a link to those videos in the description below, and you can watch those to give you an idea of dimensions and sizes and things like that. But keep in mind, the reason I wanted to do this video is show you or explain to you the changes that I made and the changes that I'm going to be making to make this even more efficient than it is now, to get it to be the same efficiency as this solar sun oven. And the first thing, I just mentioned the rack, so I'll show you that. We'll close these up right here. And this is the main thing I'm going to be changing. I'll go through that in a minute. But with this door right here, let's open these up. Just got these wood pieces holding that in place. I built a rack that is basically the same thing as the All-American Sun oven. And it just has these two wire pieces that I put together right here. And they're on a rack that actually came with the Sun oven, but you could probably find a barbecue rack or something like that. And that gives it the ability to, when I tilt this up, the food in here stays stable. And to keep this insulated right here, I've got this high heat, and I've got the links to the articles I wrote that have all the things that I used for this, but this is some heat resistant insulation to keep this sealed nice and tight to the window. I've got these hinges that I've changed a couple times, and I landed on these because, one, it's got a locking mechanism right there, and it pinches the glass rather than having to drill holes in the glass. So this is kind of nice. I also did use plexiglass to begin with, and I ended up going with regular glass because the plexiglass, you get that heat and everything going on, it's going to eventually warp and it's not going to work. So you want to get regular glass. Then I just taped up the edges. You can do it however you want. These little guides right here, sun guides that you can use to make sure this is perfectly angled to the sun. Believe it or not, I was looking for what would work for this, and believe it or not, a piece of fence post that we have to keep the horses in works perfectly for these, perfect shape. So that was kind of cool. I used to have a handle on here, but it's kind of, I had it glued on there, and that heat will just make the handle pop off, and it's kind of pointless. Then you've got the door closures right here. This one's got the metal ones, and I just grabbed a piece of wood, stained it up nice and put some spacers underneath there, and so it seals up all well. So this is the glass right there, and the insulation, I used 2x2s to build the frame of this box right here at the exact dimensions of that, and I have that on the website so you can get those dimensions. But I could have honestly used 1x2s and made it a little bit thinner on the inside, because this box, the inside of this box right here, is a little bit smaller than that box right there. So that means that if I used 1x2s, I could have increased this box right here and still have the insulation properties that it does. And then as far as the insulation, it's just the insulation foam boards that I cut into size. There are a lot of different things you could do with, different types of insulation. Shoot, you could even, if you put a hole in here somewhere before you put this top ridge on, you could probably fill that with that spray foam insulation if you wanted to, and get it nice and full and compact and insulated all the way around everything, which wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think. And then on the inside, I just used basically just a piece of sheet metal and some corner pieces right here that I put it all together, and painted it with some heat resistant, like barbecue grill paint, heat resistant paint that's going to withstand those temperatures up to 400 degrees, 350 degrees. And I used one solid piece going all the way around this way, and then I put the two side pieces on, and then, covered up the corners right there. So it is, and then once I put this top, surround on right here, which could have been a little bit thinner. You can see that the solar oven one is a little bit thinner than this one, but it's not bad. This is heavier than that. It's probably twice as much at least. So smaller materials, lighter materials, would probably work as well for this, but it is very well insulated. Once I put all of this stuff on and got it all done, I know it's just as good as the All-American Sun oven, because when it reaches that 300 degrees and I turn them away from the sun, it maintains the temperature at the same that the All-American Sun Oven does. It goes down the same amount over time. So this is just as insulated as that. The problem is I can't get it to get to the temperature that this one gets to, and that is completely to do with these panels right here that I made. And while these will work, this will get up to 300 degrees. I cut off this little corner right here. I had to use it for something, but I'm going to replace these anyway, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But these do work, and this does get up to 300 degrees or so, but it won't get up to as hot as that. And that's what I wanted to change out. One, I want to make sure these panels are just as fixed and stable as these ones, and that means getting these little hinges right here on the ends and in the middle of these flaps right here as well, and getting the hinge on the top right here, because you can see this one, it's actually bending the solar panels, and I got to tuck it up, and it's just really not not very well made. So I'm going to get a longer hinge, a longer piece of wood right here, and we'll get this to be just like that one. And I figure the cost of replacing these, and not necessarily replacing these, but covering these and getting the hinges, is going to be about 75 bucks. So if you count the sheet metal you get to begin with, you're looking at $125 to build these. But what I want to do coming up is I need to replace this panel at the very least right here. I may replace all of them, but I want to take this, and there's some 2mm Mylar film that is completely reflective, like almost mirror like these right here are. And I can put that Mylar film over here with just some adhesives, metal to metal adhesive, and then I'll bet you this would be about 90% efficient is what I need it to be, 90 to 95% efficient, which is probably what this is. But I'd be able to do that. I also want to change the hinges out. So with the hinges on all of these, that would all be about, $75 to $95 right there. And then I guarantee after that, this would work just as well as this would work. And the total cost of this, calculating for inflation and everything, what I've spent now, you're probably looking at $250. If you've got $75, $100 into these, and then the wood, the sheet metal inside, the little racks, and everything included, you're probably looking at about $300. This right here is $750 or 700 and something on their website, and they're sold out right now. So you're talking about half the price to put one of these together. And you can do the little DIY projects, but they're not, they're more entertainment than anything else. Sort of like this sun flare right here, not a good emergency option. It's better for if you go camping and the kids, you don't want them to mess with your sun oven. So you give them that to play with, give them a piece of bacon or an egg or something and let them cook something in there. But it's not a viable option, I don't think, in an emergency or disaster when you really have to cook something. These, on the other hand, really are. These are these solar ovens. If you need to bake bread, you need to make casseroles. I've done a bunch of things in this one right here. And even in this one right here, I've made some bread as well. And it works at 300 degrees, just not as quickly as this one does. So at any rate, like I said, I've got the instructions, how I originally did this. I've got a few videos and I've got a few blog posts about the dimensions and materials and all that. And if you do have any questions, make sure and leave them in the comments below. If I do get enough, if there's enough interest in this video, I may go ahead and either break this one down or redo another video. I'll probably do another video on these reflectors when I upgrade those. I'm going to try to get them exactly like these. So we'll see how that turns out. And then I'll show you how this will probably get, I'm assuming it will probably get to 400 degrees when I do that. At any rate, that's these right here. If you do have any questions about solar cookers or any comments, if you've done a DIY project yourself, let me know. But with that, take care and prepare, everyone. We will talk to you all later.